I'm your Slocum 23, you're joining me for Edge of Extinction, Episode 10. The next morning, everyone gathers to pay their respects to Anna in a burial at sea. A cold wind blows across the upper deck as you help carry her wrapped body up from the cargo hold. This is a sad occasion. When we left on this journey, we all expected Anna to be with us to the end. Unfortunately, that is not her fate, and so we gather to say goodbye to another friend. With her passing, our group is diminished, not just in numbers, but in spirit. Grace pauses and looks out over the ocean, staring off at the horizon. Would anyone like to say a few words? I would. I'd like to speak. Grace nods and you take a moment to gather your thoughts as you think about what to say. Eventually, you decide you should give an inspiring speech, focus on who Anna was, admit your grief and anger. Focus on who Anna was. Anna was a remarkable woman. She never settled for the ordinary. She was a woman driven by her passion for excellence. Before the collapse, the passion for excellence took her down the path of sports and athletics. She threw herself into training, pushing herself ever further until she became an elite competitor, destined for Olympic glory. Sadly, that dream was taken away from her, but after the collapse, she found a new focus for her passion and drive. Us. Anna gave everything she had to help our group. In the end, perhaps she gave too much, but that's who she was. Anna will not see the end of our journey, but we could not have made it this far without her, and she will always be part of us. At the end of your eulogy, you fall into silence. Grace waits a few seconds, but when nobody else speaks, she takes it upon herself to continue. Goodbye, Anna. May you finally be at peace. Grace nods, and Anna's body is released into the sea. With the ceremony ended, there is an awkward moment of silence, and then everyone disperses, too wrapped up in their own thoughts to speak. On the morning of the 6th day at sea, the shoreline of a large island can be seen cresting the horizon. Grace pushes the boat full steam ahead, and by late afternoon, you're entering a small harbor on the Spitsbergen Island. This is a port for the town of Longyearbyen. It's the only real settlement here. The seed vault is just a few hours inland. There's no signs of life as Grace guides the ship into one of the empty docks. We only have a few hours of light left today. There's no point in heading into the seed vault until tomorrow. I guess we'll wait here then. I suppose I can handle one more night on the ship. I don't object to spending the night on board. It's easier than unloading everything and camping on the frozen shore. But I think we all need a chance to stretch our legs and give each other a little space. You can't argue with that, and not after nearly a week of cramped quarters. Once Grace secures the boat, everyone eagerly piles out onto the dock. Shadow runs back and forth, the static to be back on land. As the group scatters in all directions, Grace calls out a warning. Don't stray too far, and be back by dark. The island is known for its polar bear population. Oh no, God forbid, nature reclaims its home. You and Shadow spend the next hour wandering the docks. As darkness approaches, you reluctantly make your way back to the boat. You sleep poorly. The anticipation of finally reaching the seed vault keeps you up like a kid on Christmas Eve. When you finally leave your bunk and head to the upper deck, the first rays of morning sun are just peeking over the horizon. It isn't long before the rest of the group joins you. I think we should use the boat as a base camp, at least until we have a chance to find out more about the island. John, Joseph, and I will go scout out the seed vault today. The rest of you wait here until we get back. I think we should contact Dag in Tromston. Someone needs to get on the radio. Let Dag know we made it safely. I'm sure he'll be anxious to hear from us. Hildy can take care of that. I want to leave inside the hour, but we should grab some breakfast first. You set out right after breakfast, following the main road leading from the harbor. To your surprise, Shadow doesn't run excitedly ahead during the hike to explore the new territory. Instead, she stays close to your heel. She seems tense and anxious. Well, she's an animal. It's all new territory for her. What's the matter, girl? Something wrong? It could be that. She points at a large pile of scat on the side of the road. Luckily, it doesn't look fresh. This island is known for its large population of polar bears, though I don't know how many of them survived the collapse. Well, it takes us one. Remember what happened the last time we ran into one? Didn't go well. It better not. I've only got one eye left. I can't really afford to lose it. Oh, she made a joke. You continue keeping a sharp eye out for any signs of polar bears in the area. It doesn't take long before you pass through a small town of Longyearbyen and start heading down an unpaved road. An hour later, you get the first glimpse of the seed vault itself. A heavy gray wedge of concrete built into the foot of a steep hill. As you approach the two steel doors at the front of the structure, they slowly swing open. A single figure steps out. She has seen some shit. That lab coat is really dirty. Seeing you, the woman lets out a small gasp of delight. Oh, hello. Perfect, bonjour, hello, guten Tag? Hello? Oh, you're American, so am I. She looks to be about 30, though it's hard to say for sure. Her face looks thin, drawn, almost skeletal. I knew someone would show up eventually. I knew if I just waited here, others would come. She steps forward with a wide smile, pulls off her glove and offers her hand. Her fingers look even more immaculated than her face. My name is Charmaine Jackson, but my friends call me Cher. Or Char. I'm Grace, this is Joseph, and that's John and Shadow. I'm gonna offer some food. Are you hungry, Char? We packed a few extra protein bars for the trip. Her eyes light up at the prospect of something to eat, but you can tell she's hesitant. Don't worry, they're from before the food supply became contaminated. They're safe. You hold out a pair of protein bars and she takes one of them, and with a mumbled thanks, she tears it open and devours them in a few desperate bites. Oh my god. I never thought granola and raisins could taste so good. I've been rationing my supplies for the past month, trying to hold out until my crops are ready to harvest. You're growing crops? Did you keep them quarantined? If you didn't, they'll become contaminated. It's okay. I know what I'm doing. I'm a botanist. I'm keeping my crops isolated. I'd love to see what you're set up. I'm a scientist myself. A geneticist, actually. I was in Stavanger, working on a cure when the collapse hit. The collapse? Is that what you all call it? As good a name as any, I suppose. I've been calling it the end. My god, I have so many questions I want to ask. I don't even know where to start. Who are you? Where did you come from? How did you get here? She suddenly starts laughing. It takes several seconds before she can recompose herself. Well, when you're alone for that time in a vault, you're alone. Stop staring at her. I'm sorry. That probably seemed crazy, but I'm not, I swear. I'm just a bit overwhelmed right now. My head is spinning. We understand. That's a lot to process. It's okay. Just take your time. Maybe it would help if we traded stories while getting a tour of the seed vault. We've been through a lot to get here, and I'd like to see the inside with my own eyes. Oh, come on, follow me. You brought home a new survivor. No, I'm pretty sure she brought us home, just saying. The four of you pass through the steel doors inside. A row of dim lights overhead illuminates everything with a ghostly glow. She leads you down a 100-foot tunnel burrowed into the rock. The walls are covered with a permanent layer of ice and snow. I was working at this Svalbard Research Institute when the first people started to get sick, just outside of town. They started evacuating people, but within a week almost everyone was affected. The entire island shut down. At the end of the tunnel is a locked door. She pulls out the key and opens it, and you continue into a second tunnel. The air gets noticeably colder as you continue deeper and deeper into the earth. I don't remember much of what happened after that. I think a rescue team came to get everyone out. Everyone they could find, at least. All I know is that when my fever finally broke, everyone else was gone. 2,000 people evacuated, except they left me behind. Why were you left behind? How could they just abandon you like that? I don't think it was intentional. It was probably just bad luck. When the sickness started spreading, it must have been utter chaos. I'm amazed they evacuated as many people as they did. To be honest, I didn't realize this was a global phenomenon at first. I thought it was just affecting Svalbard. But as the weeks passed, I began to realize this didn't just hit us. There were no radio broadcasts, no internet, no TV. That's when I knew I was stuck here. Nobody was going to come rescue me. The world was gone. It was just me. But you kept going. I'm glad you find the strength to keep fighting. Not everyone did. I'm not a quitter. Not to say that I didn't have some bad days, and I made my share of mistakes. It took me a while to figure out what was actually making me sick. Had a few fever relapses when I ate contaminated food. Luckily, I survived long enough to piece it all together. But there weren't a lot of uncontaminated supplies here on the island. If I was going to make it, I knew I needed to find a sustainable food source. That's when I started thinking about the seed vault. Charmaine unlocks another door at the end of the second tunnel. You step into an antechamber leading into 3 hallways. You go down the first one. At the end is another door. When she opens it, you see what looks like a massive warehouse. Thousands and thousands of footlocker-sized plastic containers are stacked in a row after numbered row. How many seeds are there? I mean, I was expecting an answer sometime today. There must be millions of seeds here. More like 1.5 million, and that's just one vault. In total, there are almost 5 million viable samples across 3 separate storage vaults. Thousands of crops from around the world, all edible. Each sample dated and cataloged in a vacuum-sealed packet, and almost all of them are from before the food supply was contaminated. I'm using a generator to power the lights in the seed rooms, but luckily we don't have to worry about the refrigeration. The vaults are well below the permafrost layer. Everything down here will stay naturally frozen to preserve the samples. You said you were growing some crops. Where are those? The seed vaults is just for storage. The crops are at the Research Institute in Longyearbyen. They have a handful of climate-controlled greenhouses and hydroponic grow rooms for research. It took me weeks to completely empty and sterilize them, and then I started planting seeds. New crops that will be safe to eat. That was a month ago. A few of the faster-growing crops, spinach, radishes, kale, will be ready soon. Soy, lentils, potatoes, tomatoes, strawberries. Those take a little longer, and it's a lot of work for one person. That's why I keep coming back to the seed ball, looking for more variety seeds that are easy to grow, but still taste good. You've done an amazing job. I'm impressed with everything you were able to accomplish on your own. So am I. But growing crops in quarantine is a short-term solution. Have you thought about engineering crops that are actually immune to the toxins? That would be great, in theory. I just don't have that kind of expertise. Well, there you know that man that just spoke. He does. But I might. It's a long story, but that's why we came here, and I could use your help. Charmaine starts laughing again. Okay, now you're the ones who sound insane. You think we can really fix this? That we can somehow save the world? Well, we can try. All we know is it's a long shot, but wouldn't you rather have a slim hope than no hope at all? And there are others, an entire group, waiting back at our boat. Others? Come on, We'll take you to them, and maybe get you something a little more filling than those protein bars. Hey, you leave protein bars alone. They're the only thing that sustain me. Charmaine is welcomed by the rest of the group with open arms. Over the next few days, or few weeks, you unpack the boat and more move into the resident apartments at the Svalbard Research Institute. The group takes over the tending of the crops in the greenhouses from Char, and freeing her, Joseph, to focus on finding a cure. Using labs and equipment at the Research Institute along with the samples from the seed vault, the duo throws themselves headlong into their work. You rarely see Joseph or Char. Every morning they start early and work late into the night. But as you're coming back from tending the crops one day, you're supposed to see him heading up to the rooms in the residences. Joseph, I didn't expect to see you here. I decided to come home early today. I needed a break. I've been working so hard I couldn't tell the difference between DNA, RNA with the electron microscope right now. Don't burn yourself out. You're pushing yourself too hard. It's hard not to. There's so much at stake, and everyone worked so hard and went through so much to get me here. I feel like I owe it to you, to all of you, to push myself at least a little bit. But we're making progress, slowly but surely. I can see the possibilities, the potential, and so can Char. That's why we're pushing so hard on this. Every day we're getting a little closer to figuring this out. I'm surprised how well Char and I work together. Sounds like you like her. You two seem to be getting along quite well. We are, but Char's just a friend. She's not really my time. I actually think she might have a little thing for Stig. But don't say anything to him. When she's ready, I'm sure she'll let him know. I probably should head off to bed. Char wants to get an early start tomorrow. Joseph gives you a nod and a goodbye wave before disappearing into his apartment. As spring gives way to summer, optimism among the group is high. You've begun to take regular harvests from the greenhouse and grow rooms, and everyone seems to be settling into your new lives. Marco and Sophia have moved into the same apartment in the residences, though in public they keep their relationship low-key. With Eldie's help, Mari and her baby are both doing great. Stig checks up on them weekly, and it's just a precaution, but both mother and child are happy and healthy. Joseph and Char provide regular updates on their work. It's layman's terms to the rest of the group. They do their best to temper expectations, but their excitement over the progress is both obvious and contagious. The cure begins to seem more and more like an inevitability, though one that could still be months or even years away. And in midsummer, Grace reports on some exciting news from Dag. Another group of survivors arrived at the church yesterday. 6 people, 3 women, 3 men. Once the newcomers have had their chance to rest and recover, they'll be stocking their own boat and coming here to join us. Let's be cautious. We don't know anything about these people. Are we sure we want them to join us? We may have left the cathedral, but our original principles still stand. We welcome any who come with open arms. Are you sure they come with open arms? And they don't even know about us yet. Dag won't say anything if he thinks they're a threat. But I don't think that's very likely. They're probably just like us, ordinary people who banded together after the collapse to survive. Any idea when they'll arrive? It will be a few weeks at least, but we should make preparations. Let's get a list of supplies we might need from the mainland. Dag can have them stock up before they leave. We'll need to send a welcoming committee, someone to greet them and guide them here once they're at the dock. That means planning logistics, checking the routes, doing it right, so our new guests don't get lost or eaten. Yeah, it should be you. It only makes sense you're the first face they see, Grace. John's right. I know you don't like being called our leader, but you are. Grace looks like she's about to object, and then realizes there's no point in denying the obvious. It's almost a month before the newcomers finally arrive, and when they land, Grace, Marco, and Sophia escort them from the docks without incident. As they settle into the residences and make their introduction, Grace brings one of them over to meet you. Oh, hello there. John, this is Cole. Are there only 4 of you? Wait, that's an interesting question. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Svalbard. It's a pleasure to be here. I only wish I came bearing better news. Dag's not doing well. The 2 of our group actually stayed behind to look after him. Dag didn't want us to say anything over the radio. He didn't want you to worry, but his health is deteriorating rapidly. I'm glad he's not alone. It's good to know he won't have to spend his final days by himself. Dag is a good man, and his work is important. That's why the couple who are staying with him are going to carry on his legacy. They want to stay in the cathedral, keep sending out radio messages after Dag is gone. That's good. Someone needs to reach out to other survivors if we actually want to rebuild society. Cole, I'm sure you and the others are tired after your journey. Come with me and I'll show you to your rooms. As Grace leads them away, you can't help but think about the future. You realize the arrival of Cole's group is just the beginning. Others will follow and your community will continue to grow. Everything is falling into place, just one key piece of the puzzle remains. Joseph and Char need to finish their work and find a cure. Cole did not become a friend. Why you do this, Grace? Why are we still neutral? Thought we were bays. Anyway, without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Head down the description below, links to social media, Discord, and if you'd like to support me and my content. There is 1 episode left of Edge of Extinction, so stay tuned for that. And without further ado, I will catch you all in the next video. Peace, peace, peace.